Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Thursday, 17th April 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. The CCJ is free from political interference. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Outgoing President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Justice Adrian Saunders, is rejecting claims that the CCJ is not independent from political interference. As for when Trinidad and Tobago and other countries will have the CCJ as their final court of appeal, he believes it's just a matter of time. Sunil Lala of TTT News has more.
Outgoing President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Justice Adrian Saunders, is assuring that the CCJ is free of political interference. As for when Trinidad and other countries will have the CCJ as its final court of appeal, he believes it's just a matter of time.
I can vouch for the judges of the CCJ, the predecessor judges of the CCJ, the current bench, that they are all persons of impeccable integrity. And so this notion that, well, the CCJ might be good, but is susceptible to political interference is rubbish.
Justice Saunders said certain narratives spewed in the public domain continues to damage the reputation of the CCJ in the minds of some persons.
We would all as Caribbean people do well to follow the injunction of Brother Bob when he speaks about emancipating ourselves. For too long, we allow ourselves to, without evidence, as I said, be distrustful of our institutions, of our officialdom, with no just cause.
But he pointed out that the CCJ continues to maintain its independence.
Our funding is the envy of courts throughout the world because we do not interface with any political directorate in order to secure our funds. Our judges are appointed, as I mentioned, by a transparent and merit-filled basis.
Newly minted judge of the CCJ, Justice Chile Ibu Usuji, said he believes the CCJ has a model that the rest of the world should follow that reduces their tendency for political interference.
The trust fund that was set up in such a way that you don't have the administration of the CCJ, the president of the court, the registrar of the court, going cap in hand every biennial budget to plead for funding, operational funding. You don't have that at the CCJ, but you do have that at other international courts.
And despite Trinidad and Tobago not having the CCJ as its final court of appeal, although being the location for its headquarters, Mr. Saunders said the court is not fixated on that issue and caters for the 5 countries that sends their appeals.
I have no doubt that in due course, when the time is right, when the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, the people of Trinidad and Tobago wish that time to come, that Trinidad will be a member of the CCJ. It's a question of time. And that is a time which people of Trinidad and Tobago would have to determine for themselves.
In mid-March, then Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley made a plea to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago to move away from the Privy Council and install the CCJ as the country's final appellate court. Sunil Lala, TTT News.
In the meantime, the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, has a new judge. Nigerian-born Justice Chile Ibo Osuji was officially sworn in at President's House on Tuesday morning, replacing Justice Andrew Burgess from Barbados, who recently retired.
He served as the president of the International Criminal Court, the ICC, a legal advisor to the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, and conducted appeals before the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court of Canada. And now Justice Chile Ubo Usuji has joined the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, filling the vacancy brought about by the recent retirement of Justice Andrew Burgess from Barbados.
So the court serves its purpose not only as a court for the CARICOM nations to resolve disputes arising from the Treaty of Jaguaramas, but also there is no need to look beyond the seas for a final court of appeal, given the quality of judges we have on that bench.
TNT's President Christine Kanglu described the appointment of the newest judge to the CCJ as a perfect match.
Among his many other accomplishments, Justice Ebo Osuji also has the distinction of having served as the fourth president of the International Criminal Court and is the first former judge of the ICC to be appointed to the CCJ. Justice Ebo Osuji and the CCJ are a perfect match.
Justice Ebo Usuji also responded to questions on whether he would like to see a TNT having the CCJ as being the final court of appeal on all matters.
It should have already have happened. It's not about during my tenure. I think, as I said, Trinidad and Tobago is one of the leading nations in the region. And they could have led by that example to say, look, we're going to repatriate the administration of justice, our own administration of justice.
CCJ President Justice Adrian Saunders said the court received a total of 25 applications for the vacancy, mostly from the Caribbean, following which 5 were shortlisted, one being from Trinidad and Tobago.
It is only because this particular candidate was the best of the lot that we interviewed that we selected him. But I thought that it was not a bad thing at all that he hailed from Nigeria. He's been naturalized a Canadian. He's had his experience as president of the International Court of Justice, that he brings a certain level of experience and wealth of knowledge and wisdom to the court.
Justice Ebo Usuji received his PhD degree from the University of Amsterdam in the Netherlands, his LLM degree from McGill University in Canada, and also received his LLB degree from the University of Calabar in Nigeria. Sonolala, TTT News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
A stern warning from Prime Minister Stuart Young to citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Speaking at a public meeting in La Joquita on Monday night, he warned that the UNC would drive the country into bankruptcy if they win the upcoming April 28th election. TTT News has more.
Quoting a newspaper article published in the TNT Guardian written by senior business journalist Anthony Wilson, Prime Minister Stuart Young cautioned citizens against voting for the UNC-led coalition. Prime Minister Young alluded to the article, which highlighted that the campaign promises made by the UNC political leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar aren't feasible.
Published on the 3rd of April this year in the Business Guardian by one of the top business reporters in Trinidad and Tobago. This is not PNM saying this. This is somebody in the media who will criticize the government and may praise the government. Someone who will analyze things and who will tell the truth. Anthony Wilson said, "Can TNT afford Kamala's promises?" Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Trinidad and Tobago, be warned by Anthony Wilson and The Guardian. He says, the cost of funding only seven, the cost of funding 7 of the main promises or commitments made by Kamala Prasad Bissessa, the political leader of the UNC, during the 2025 general election campaign could be more than $18 billion.
Prime Minister Young further alluded to the Guardian article in which it highlighted that just a handful of the UNC's leaders' promises, if elected into government, will bankrupt the economy.
Increase the compensation of public sector employees by no less than 10%. The cost up to $12 billion, with increased expenditure on wages and salary of $1.1 billion a year. Now I know for many of us, these are just figures. But the point that I will get to and that he is warning us of, it will bankrupt Trinidad and Tobago.
Prime Minister Young cautioned citizens to compare what the UNC is promising to what the PNM is promising and deduce which of the plans make sense in the long term for citizens. He also reiterated his intention to ensure customer service improves, especially when it comes to addressing the welfare needs of the elderly.
That we will make sure that when you apply for your grant, when you go for your food card, when you go for the roof to be fixed on your house, you are treated with dignity. You are treated properly. And we are going to make sure in government offices, they use the technology that is available. We don't want to hear anymore and lose your file.
Also speaking at a public meeting was candidate for La Hocketa, Tal Paro, Foster Cummings, Penelope Beckles, Robinson, candidate for Arima, Laventille West, candidate Kareem Marcel, and Dominic Romaine, the candidate for Malabar Mausica. Charlene Lewis, TTT News.
Could the Bahamas be on the cusp of a recession? Head of Fidelity Bank, Gowan Bo, weighs in on the Bahamian economy. ZNS's Cleopatra Murphy reports.
Could the Bahamas and the global economy be on the cusp of a recession? CEO of Fidelity Bank Bahamas, Gowan Bo, sees it as a real possibility, spurred on by the Trump administration's sweeping new tariffs. The Bahamas got its part hit with a 10% reciprocal tariff on exports to the U.S.
Tariffs and trade wars slow down economic activity. They often contribute to recessions. The major tariff initiative by the United States the last time was in the 1929, 1930 time frame, and it led to a global Great Depression.
While Bo hopes to avoid what could be a long, drawn-out economic slowdown due to countries taking action against each other, the fight between the U.S. and China appears to be escalating.
Everything that's going to be increased in cost because of tariffs, because of fees that are levied on non-U.S. or Chinese-built vessels, and trade war actions, unfortunately, are going to increase the cost of consumption for Bahamians.
Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, during a national address on April 9th, says the country is facing new and very significant challenges, Bo adding that a trade war will also decrease the purchasing power of tourists, leading to a cutback in travel.
If we had a national development plan, we may have been able to pivot, not by cliche, but by actions, because we know that high net worth individuals, those who are flying private jets, coming in yachts, etc., are probably not going to feel it all that significantly, and we certainly should be targeting those visitor classes.
All things considered, with the U.S. as the Bahamas' largest trading partner, Bo says the country is looking for the best outcome for that nation, not because it necessarily supports its position, but commercially, the Bahamas needs the U.S.'s success, which filters down to the Bahamas. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Tillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.